Hi. I found on my iPods, my other iPods. Yep.
Can y'all see her? Can y'all see her face? Because I cannot see her face. Put a one if you can see her, and put a two if you cannot see her. No.
Really? I
Britt,
click camera.
press the camera button like to turn it off, and then try turning it on again. Make sure when you hit the camera button, make sure you hit save. Make sure you click save.
Okay.
Healing
Can
her
you see me?
silence. What's good, girl? I can hear you. Here, let me drop you and try to bring you back up because
She
we can't
got
see
a
you
bonnet
right now.
on. What?
Let me try to bring her back up. There we go. We can see you now.
Okay. Someone said I have a bonnet on. Like I don't never wear. I never wear bonnets. Sorry to disappoint you. Bonnet.
Anyways, let me read this again so you can explain. It says something about something being layered. Okay, so
Yeah.
um hold on. All right, so
Comments
most
are
of
funny.
the hate and negative energy
Hmm.
modern black women have for black men stems from the negative experiences that their mothers, aunties, grandmothers, etc. had with black men. True or false?
I wouldn't say most. I wouldn't say most. I would say it's pretty 50-50 with your own personal experiences and the stories of others. Because people don't always learn vicariously through others. A lot of people need to learn the hard way. So a lot of people they don't listen to what their moms say. They try it themselves. They're like, "Oh, she was dumb. I'm not," and then they realize they're dumb too. So I wouldn't say that that's the reason. 100%, no way.
All right. Do you think modern black women value relationships, family, and their wombs?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you think modern black women value relationships, family, and their wombs?
No.
Elaborate. Hey,
No.
listen. This is
I
about to
hate
get this
to
is about to get
say
very real.
it.
It's about to get very real tonight. Y'all tap the screen, share the live. It's about to get very, very real tonight.
That's how I get
You know,
suspended. They go, hey.
no, keep it real. Keep it real. Say why you don't feel that they say why you personally don't think that a lot of black women today value family relationships and their womb.
Of course it's layered and it has to do with a lot of trauma. It has to do with there is a systematic attack on the black family. So it's not just within our culture, but it's within a lot of different external factors that are attacking our culture. So there was the whole Willie Lynch thing, right? That led to a lot of the psychological breakdowns of the black family and why they try to make the men emasculated and the women more independent so that you break down the family structure. And we see that today in modern black women where we are just like, I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. I'm the most decorated with degrees. I'm the demographic that has the most, this, that, and the third, you know, and the men are the most incarcerated. And that's a systematic attack on the black family. And unfortunately, when we talk about it, that's why I kind of like cringe because when we talk about it, it will make me seem as if I'm not a feminist, which technically I am. I do feel that women are fully entitled to choosing their lives and the lives that they want to live, and that's what feminist is about at its root. But it's become something completely different, and when you start talking about what family structure is and how you can really create generational wealth and generational health, people don't really want to talk about that. And we don't want to really unravel some of the deep psychological problems that Black women and men have when it comes to family.
Why do you think black women are the least married and highest divorced in this country?
Again, for the same psychological reasons. It's a direct attack on black families, black women, black men. If a white woman brings a black man home, nobody's celebrating her. Black men are going to get the low class white women. This is the honest. They're not going to get the you know the heiress and all that. So they don't get that. So at the end of the day, we are devalued in society and laughed at in society overall, all of us. But we tend to talk a lot about the women and not about the system that's in place that makes everything happen this way. So I think that's
Does it
that's the
really?
main problem.
Does it really have anything to do with a system though? Because that's something that a lot of black women like to say. They like to say it's I got 3 kids by 3 different men because of patriarchy. Like we're the least married and the highest divorce because of patriarchy. Like if you can help me understand, I really don't understand or see the correlation between the two.
Okay.
Like what
I can
if
help
you and
you.
I if you and I are in if you or I if you and I are in a committed exclusive relationship with each other, I don't
Hmm.
understand how the patriarchy or whatever system may be has any effect, has anything to do with what we got going on.
Well, unfortunately or fortunately, we're humans, so we're affected by the societies that we grow up in, the spoken and unspoken normalcies, expectations in our society, and the structures and the systems. So yeah, that might be today in 2023, but if you look back to 1950, your grandmothers and great grandmothers, they were married, they had families, they were not single moms. And that's just the truth. Like, what was it? 70+% of the Black community were married back then. And then you have this huge shift post 80s, right? Post war on drugs, post really getting down to nitty gritty of destroying the Black family. Like they literally had towns where it was illegal for Black women to be stay-at-home mothers. And if you denied work to a white woman, you would be jailed as a Black woman. Like this was systematic and it affects the psychology. And if your man is in jail, if the men are in jail, the men can't get work or the men can't do this, but they are investing in the Black women. I think it's really cute how JP Morgan Chase dedicated to like what was it, $1 billion into
It was
black
a lot of them,
women, into
right?
black women, and saying that the way to uplift the black community through their research is to invest in the black women, not the men, right? So you're putting more money into the women, and then you ask the men why they feel emasculated, why the women are treating them a certain way. Well, if you aren't paying my bills, I feel like you have no say. At the end of the day, no disrespect to anybody in the chat before someone clicks whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like you have a say. And then we start having these arguments and we start having this discourse where you're not really a man to me. There was something that came out recently where Gabrielle Union was saying because she paid all the bills that she was cheating on her first husband because she paid all the bills and she felt entitled to infidelity. Because what's he doing? Right? And that's almost ingrained in us as a species, as mammals. The female species always, I hate the term marry up. I heard that in the little clip. It's not necessarily marry up, and that's just like something that we talk about as far as like being civilized animals. But the reality is the female species always wants to procreate with the male species who has the most resources because that will secure your offspring, that will protect your offspring. So of course I want to marry the man with the most resources. So no, I don't want to marry Brokey because how is he going to protect anything? If we get sued, he can't afford a lawyer. If we can't have this house, he can't afford that house. That's a joke. Where am I gonna put my kids? So of course I don't want that. It's human nature in me to not want that. But if you can't do that and I have to do it myself, then yeah, I may emasculate you. And then yeah, I may divorce you. And then may I don't want you. And then why do I need you? And now I'm a single mom, and now it's like the single mom culture. Why do we need them? Because they're brokies. I mean, it's a long standing system, but we've normalized it so much within our society that now we don't even see that it's systematic. We see it as some type of personal slight, some type of pathological issue with Black women that we don't see in other cultures. Yeah, because other cultures weren't attacked the way Black women were attacked.
So there's a lot of black
Why
women
and why
and
are they brokies? Yeah, the system, they're brokies. You know why they're brokies.
okay, let's address that Brokey's thing real quick. If black women and black men on the average, not talking about Noble, not talking about Brittany, not talking about people in our circle, not talking about
Fair.
our friends, why if black women and black men on average are making damn near the same amount of money, both making like a little less than 42,000, how are black women out here calling black men brokies? And you know what? But before you answer, because this is what I want. What do you have to say about all the black women that are talking about divesting right now, Britt? Because in 2021, um, of black men and women that were married, 85% of black men were married to a black woman. 8% were married to a white woman, and 4% were married to a Hispanic woman. 3% were married to other. For black women, 93% were married to a black man, 4% were married to a white man, 2% to Hispanic, and 1% to other. So these black women that are talking about divesting, what are they talking about? Because clearly, when they are getting married, which only like 1 out of 4 of them are getting married, 9 out of 10 of them are getting married to a black man. In the
Mm-hmm.
same way you said that the like black man that like gets the white woman that gets Becky, he's gonna get like the bottom feeder Becky. Can we say that for the same thing for black women and white men? Like, do black women really think that like Cody's mom wants him to bring Ayana home? Do black women really think that Katia's or Hector's dad and Hector's mom wants him to bring Kiera home? Like, do they really think that? I, I'm
No,
I'm asking.
but I think Black women are living in that reality, but I think Black men are like just waking up to that reality. I think and it does stem from slavery, right? Of course, Black women in slavery were always the gaze of the white man's eye, and that's why you had so many mixed children um coming out of slavery, and we didn't want to be a part of that. Versus Black men were treated like Emmett Till if they even looked at a white woman. So once they got the opportunity, felt like it was some type of revolutionary thing. Versus Black women, we don't feel like it's a revolutionary thing. We actually don't care to look at it as a status symbol or a come up, where Black men do. And it all stems from slavery. It does. It's a psychological pass down. So that would explain that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just think it's
Brit,
unfortunate that there's just. I'm sorry, go
you're
ahead.
telling me that the black women that are out here talking about divesting, you're telling me that they are the black women that we're talking about divesting in 2022, and even at the top of 2023, this same group of black women that are talking about divesting because there's just no good black men out here. They're broke, they're uneducated. They say we just, I'm an educated black woman. I just can't find an educated black man that's at my level, and they're talking about divesting. You're telling me, Britt, that they're talking about divesting because of slavery.
No, I'm not saying they're talking about divesting because of slavery. Obviously, they're talking about divesting because their personal experience as Black men. But I'm saying in the general sense, because I feel like that is a minority, to be honest. Black women are tending to look for Black men. Black
So,
men are definitely more coveted.
so all these black women nowadays are talking about, how they're the most educated. They're getting all these degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, doctorate degrees. Despite black women, being the most educated, as they say, why are they still like the least paid in this country? And you know, but that goes into my next question. Why? So my next question is, why do you think so many black babies are being born out of wedlock? But like again, if they're so educated and smart and accomplished and successful and all this stuff, why is like they like to refer to them Pookie and Ray Ray and Ladarius and Keontae and all these guys? Why are they getting game run on them by men that got third grade reading levels? Like, why are they letting men that literally don't got degrees and all these accomplishments and successes that they say that they have? Why are these the men that they're getting impregnated by?
Well, I think that actually proves the point of the last thing, that actually black men are coveted, even if there are Pookies and Ray Rays and they don't have degrees and they don't have this, down, and third. Black women still prefer to marry and have children with black men overall. Um, why are they getting game run on them? I just, unfortunately, as many different systems of society that we try to create, biology is biology. These women want to procreate. Their biological clocks are ticking. They feel it, whether they want to admit it or not, and that's why they entertain these various situations that are worse, that aren't worth their time, and then they aren't. I do agree with the statement that they aren't necessarily taught by the previous generation how to filter properly, and that's a big issue in our community. And even amongst my friends, when I say certain things to them, um, there's pushback with them wanting to potentially have a child with somebody that they're not married to, and they know I'm gonna be like, no, they already know. They already like, and before you say something, and I'm like, but it shouldn't be before I say something. That should be a standard for you too. You should have protection for your family. Um, but it's become a thing where people just think whatever, unfortunately.
So if you say that, you know, the whole having kids by a man that they're not married to, and not being taught how to, you use the word filter, but I guess you could also say vet the proper men.
Right.
Is it safe to say, is it fair to say that, going back to my first question, that a lot of their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunties, all these women that, they grew up with, that they also didn't properly like vet men, and then black women just haven't, for whatever reason, been able to properly vet men from the beginning of time? Is this safe to say that then?
Um, I would say yes, it comes from the teaching of their mothers and their fathers, or the lack of having a father. Or if they had a father, their father didn't participate in the vetting process. There are a lot of cultures where women are better protected than black women. And you can't even take a picture with their daughter, even if you are engaged. The only time you can take a picture with her is if you are family or married to her. You can't even, because they don't even want you to pretend that you hit it, that you're claiming it, that anything. And we don't have that type of protection from our fathers or our brothers or our male cousins to shut that down. And that's something that does need to be implemented in our culture, where our men do need to be more protective of our women. It doesn't have to be your child, it could be your sister, it could be your little cousin. And you're like, oh, who are you talking to? Where are you going? What does he want to do? I'm coming too. But we don't have that. So it's more than just the women, it's all of us. We all have to participate in it in order for our next generation to be better protected, to have generational wealth, to actually break these generational curses. It can't just be one-sided. It's family. We have to protect each other. That's the problem.
So, Britt, if all these fathers are not around to not only vet these men, but if these fathers aren't around to vet these men, more likely than not, these fathers are just not around in general. They just haven't been around. So again, does that go back, like, does that go back on the, like, why does this keep
But
on,
that's why I said
why does it keep on
cousins. That's why I
continuing?
said that's why I said cousins. That's why I said brothers, uncles. Let's not pretend like all these people aren't there, you
No,
know?
but it's not really the cousin, the uncle. It's not really those other people's obligation to have to step in and help vet a man
For your
for a
family.
woman in their family. Yeah, it's not their obligation. Why?
And I think
Where's the
that's
dad?
the mental problem.
No,
And that's the mental problem because your family is your problem. That's your family. That's your family. Let one of my little cousins be out here in the street getting jumped. What do you think I'm going to go do? Be like, that's not my problem? That doesn't make any sense. That is my problem. That's my family.
but my whole thing is we keep neglecting that the father is not there. Why does the father continue to not be there? Why? That's what I'm trying to book. Why does
You
the
tell
father
me,
not
black
continue to be
man.
there? Is it because these all of these men are just not good men, or is it because of, the men that these black women are choosing to procreate with continuously? Let's be real. Why does
I
the
mean,
father continue not to be there? Why do we have to keep on continue having this conversation?
you're going to have to answer that for me because I'm not a man. So I don't know what it would be like to just abandon my seed. I don't know. But you're gonna have to explain it to me because I actually don't know why men abandon their seed, regardless of who it's with.
Okay, you want to talk about abandoning a seed? What's the best? Okay, if you were to advise a young black woman about the best way to go about having a child, about would you tell her that it would be best to have a child with the man that you're married to, and
Yeah,
that you have some sort of covenant with, and some sort of you secure some sort of long-term commitment with? Or
every
would you
time.
tell her that if Darius pipes you down well enough and Darius brings a smile and butterflies to your stomach, then you could just go ahead and procreate with Ladarius? Because that's what it looks like is going on. And then when
Yeah,
Ladarius don't want to be there for the kid, then we want to put all the accountability on Ladarius. But Ladarius never told you that he wanted to have a child with you. Ladarius never told you that he wanted to be with you. Ladarius, as a matter of fact, Ladarius even told you not to have the baby. Because if you did have the baby, he wasn't going to be there for you or the baby, but you still went through and had the baby. And now when you have the baby, you want to talk about how Ladarius is not there.
I mean, once he impregnates you, saying that he doesn't want to be a part of it or doesn't want you to have it is something different, right? Because then you start getting into religious beliefs on death, life, whatever, killing a baby, not killing a baby, like that becomes a whole nother discussion. But he decided to ejaculate inside of you. So everyone knows what comes with that. Everyone knows the risk. So he can also do some vetting on who he wants to ejaculate in as well. We don't need to we don't need to put all of the self-control and vetting on one party and not the other. And both parties have to be responsible for pushing forward a better generation for the black community. Both people. So if you don't want to ejaculate in Keisha, to have babies with Keisha, don't do that. And if you do that, you don't have to be Keisha's husband if you don't want to be. But you should do what is manly, which is take care of all of your offspring. No matter who it's with, all of your offspring is your responsibility. I would never say someone's offspring wasn't their responsibility just because they didn't want it after they ejaculated somebody else. Like you made that decision that day.
Okay, who gave Ladarius the opportunity to insert himself inside of her raw?
That's something.
Ladarius
It's
or
both
her?
part. That's why I said both parties. This was a mutual decision to have sex.
It was a mutual decision to have sex. It was never. It
Yes.
was never. No, there was never any talk about conceiving a child together. There was never any talk about
What
having
does
a family.
what does sex do? If
Okay,
you leave it in, just pull out. Get your pull out game up. Otherwise, get your money, get your pocket ready. Like that's it. Like you know the risk. You know the everybody knows the risk. So y'all both need to take care of the next generation. There's no excuse for not taking care of the next generation. We can, bounce back and forth on who said what when it went down when y'all were drinking Hennessy. But at the end of the day, y'all both need to take care of the next generation, period. And your mama and your uncles and your cousins and everybody else also needs to look out for each other because you're all family now.
Britt, if you as a woman know that going into this that you have more to lose, you know that in this exchange you are the only one that can possibly get pregnant. If you know that you are not in a relationship with this man, you have no intentions of being in a relationship with this man, you really don't even know this man for real, you don't know Ladarius's last name, you just find him to be physically attractive. First of all, you know that aside from pregnancy, you know that when people have unprotected sex, that they are subjecting themselves to possible STDs and
Mm-hmm.
STIs. So
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want to subject yourselves to any of those things, and you know for a fact that you're not trying to get pregnant by this man, not only are you not trying to get pregnant by this man, you're not trying to get pregnant at all right now. You're not
Mm-hmm.
trying to have kids right now. Why are
Mm-hmm.
you having unprotected sex in the first place?
Right. And if a man knows that if he has unprotected sex, he can have STDs and he can create a child that he's not ready for, that they're going to garnish his wages every single week for child support, and he does not want to do that, he could go ahead and reach for that condom because nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody. You don't even know chick's middle name. Okay. This is same. It's a mutual situation where it's a problem for both people. It's a problem. And I don't think men should be having unprotected sex with women they don't want to have children by. And I don't think women should be having unprotected sex by men they don't want to have children by. Adults shouldn't do that. It's not safe.
Britt,
It's stupid.
who controls access to sex?
Women control the access to sex, but there's different type of sex, right? You're talking about unsafe sex.
I'm just
There's
talking
different types of sex. There are men that literally sneak and pull the condom off. Like that is a real thing. Okay. And they'd be like, I don't know why you're pregnant. Like that's a real crazy thing. Like she consented to protected sex. And there are men who will sneak and get the last couple strokes raw. Raw. And they'd be like, I don't know why you're pregnant.
but
Come on.
okay, if that okay. Aside from that happening, because that's like what is that? It's called like that's like that you're not supposed to do that. That's like
It's
illegal.
not, no, no, no. It's a form of R, but it
Yes.
happens very often. It actually it's stealthing. Yes, it's a crime. It actually
Right.
happens very often. Very often.
Okay. So aside from stealthy, I'm talking about Keisha literally she letting Ladarius go in from the jump with no rubber on. Cause that's just how she's feeling.
And Ladarius didn't want to have children with her.
He did not, but she didn't want to
So
have
why did he
children.
so why did he say yes?
Because she let him go inside of her
But why did
wrong.
he say yes to doing something he doesn't want to do?
Okay, he should not have said yes, but she
Right.
shouldn't. But she shouldn't have let him. She shouldn't have let him do that from the jump to
So
start
they're
off with.
both wrong. So they're both wrong. You and I agree on that. They're both wrong. We agree.
Oh my gosh, you not.
don't,
No,
don't
you
we
not. You not.
agree?
No, you not. You not. You not about to spin this. No. If
I
okay, okay. Let me
thought
put it
we
like
were
this. Let me put it like
agreeing.
this.
I
Let me put it
thought we
like
came
this.
to a point.
No, we did not. Let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. If she doesn't Ladarius might want to do whatever with her. If she's not trying to let Ladarius, if she's not for it, then it's not happening in the first place.
And
But
if
if
he's
she
not for
is,
it, it's not happening. If he's not for, if he don't want to have sex raw, there's no way she gonna force him to have sex raw. Let's be honest. Like he's gonna put his condom on and say, "No, babe, not today, not today, sis. I'm good," and she's gonna have to take it that way or get no D.
All I'm saying is if she has more to lose going into this situation, you need to operate like you have more to lose. If you
Don't
working
he
on
got money to lose?
if you working at Goldman Sachs in the investment banking division,
Uh-huh.
you out of school, you working at Goldman Sachs in the investment banking division, you know that on the weekend, it's not in your best interest to go outside and do something stupid. Don't go get a felony. Don't go get yourself in trouble because you know you have more to lose than the girl that's working the front at McDonald's. So as someone that has more to lose, that's in a higher position, that is how you need to live. That is how you need to operate. You
Look at
can't
Diddy. Diddy
you
got a
can't
lot of
be
money to lose, but look at he popping out another one with a 28-year-old. He now he got to pay her. Like people know what they doing. They're doing. They're adults. They're
you
adults.
can't
Like they weigh their losses and be like, F it.
Britt, you not going, Britt. You know that as someone that's in a certain position that has stuff to lose, you know when you have more to lose, you are going to move a certain way. You are going to you can't look. You can't be someone that has you actually have stuff to lose, and then you operate like you don't. When you operate like you don't have something to lose, you try to point the finger and blame it on the other person.
It's not wise, but people are mutually responsible for the actions that they commit when having sex unprotected. Like they're mutually responsible. So it's up to you to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have sex with Pookie, you know? And it's up to homeboys to say maybe I shouldn't have sex with Keisha and I'm a partner at a hedge fund, you know? I mean, but it's up to you to make those silly ass decisions. And if
Okay,
you make it, you have to deal with the consequences. That's
so
all.
Britt, if she slept with Ladarius Raw, but she knows that she shouldn't have slept with Ladarius Raw. She knows she doesn't want to have a baby, not only by Ladarius, but she doesn't want to have a baby. How many forms of contraceptions does she have? What can she
She
how
has she has
what can she do
several.
to prevent her having a baby?
Step one, she can use a condom.
And if she doesn't use a condom, how many other forms of contraceptives does she have to
I mean,
prevent
she
her
has
getting
other
pregnant?
forms, but those are debatable because they have a lot of side effects, and men don't have to bear those side effects because they
So
complained in the test trials.
so
They said the
now,
same side effects that women endure that they didn't want to endure having some type of birth control for men.
Britt, so she does not want to have a baby for Ladarius. She's in no position to have a baby for Ladarius. So now she's about to bring little Keontae into the world, and Ladarius is not going to be in little Keontae's life. She's not in any position to even take care of Keontae in the next 9 months to a year. So now we bringing Keontae into the world at a super big disadvantage, right? And that's
Hmm.
okay. So we just gonna continue to do that, right?
No, I think that's not okay. I just think there were a lot of steps before we even got here. There were a lot of wrong decisions made before we even got here, including what I talked about earlier, how culturally we don't protect our women enough with our men in our family, not just the fathers, if the father is absent, but the brothers, the cousins, the uncles, and everything. They don't even create some type of filtering or vetting process to keep men like Pookie away from Keisha so that they don't even get in the room alone with Keisha. Like we need way more steps before we get to, oh my God, I'm pregnant by Pookie.
Britt, is Keisha more attracted to Ladarius or is she more attracted to John?
I can't speak. I really can't speak for any each person. Like I can't. Like that would be like a reach for me to say who
Britt,
somebody is
Britt,
attracted
Britt,
to.
Britt, Britt, Britt. Are most younger black women are they more attracted to the guy that He be outside every weekend, every Friday and Saturday. He's out. He at the section. He's standing on the couches. He's sagging his pants. He's still sagging his pants in 2023. He got an LV belt on. He smelled like grab a leaf. Are they more attracted to that guy that got a bankroll? He got a bankroll, right? Because he don't got a bank account. He got a bankroll. He just walk around with cash on him, and he put his cash in a shoebox in the pillowcase. Are they more attracted to that guy, or are they more attracted to the guy that like does the investment banking and got he got health insurance and dental? What are they more attracted to when they're younger?
I mean, my friends,
Who's the
listen,
more fun guy? Who's the more fun guy? Who's the more fun guy? Who's the guy that's more thrilling?
I'm not gonna lie, like I might not be the person to answer this because none of my friends don't like that. Like I'm just not around. Those are not my girls. So I'm like I'm running. Like I'm good, but maybe somebody else will feel that way. But me and my girls never. That's a he don't got any real money in our eyes. I'm not. I know that sounds bad. I shouldn't say that. Um,
Okay,
I shouldn't say that. But
you're
in our eyes, we wouldn't have seen him. We wouldn't have seen him as someone who
Yeah,
has
you're
real money, so
yeah,
we wouldn't be attracted to
yeah,
him.
you listen, you're doing what a lot of women do. You know what the answer is, but you're trying to put it on you and your
No,
friends.
I know the stereotype that you're trying to portray to me, but I'm just saying I can't answer for that because me and my black women friends just don't come from that type of celebration of those type of men. We just don't. I'm sorry, I don't want to I don't want it to sound bougie, so I'm watching my words. So I just feel like I can't. I'm not the person to answer that because I would never look at someone like that and be like, I just
You
wouldn't like. I just would not.
okay, you and your friends would not, but what
No,
are most 25-year-old black women what do okay, let me ask you
I
this.
only
Let
know
me
my
ask you this.
friends.
Let
I
me
don't know
ask
the
you
other
this. Let me
ones.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is Ladarius and Keontae and Jamonte and Javante and Kiari, are those the guys that they deal with until
Someone
they
said
get
you've been
dogged out?
bougie this whole time. Okay.
Are are those the guys that they deal with until they get dogged out and become single mothers, and then they want to go deal with John and Eric and Ernie and Tom when they got little peanut head Keenan and his sister, and they got all this trauma and pain. Would I be accurate in saying that that's what happens most of the time or a lot of the time?
um, it's hard to say because I feel as if John, even with his square ass, can be a deadbeat dad, and like you don't see that coming either. And I've seen that happen to people. So I don't know. Like I would hate to stereotype what a deadbeat dad looks like because there are even many reports of like actual like black dads that are in their children's lives are way more active than any other demographic of fathers. So I would hate to say that just because he looks a certain way or he acts a certain way, that he's going to be a deadbeat dad or he's going to leave you hanging. And that's a stereotype that's really charged toward black men. And I don't feel like it's fair. So I would hate to say that that's true. So yeah, I would say no.
Family planning is non-existent in the black community. True or false?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Why?
that's true. It's very rare. The fact that I decided when to have my children was just rare. And I that was that's interesting. Um I feel why I feel as if marriage isn't prioritized in our community anymore and people make a lot of excuses for it. And I feel like a lot of black women don't actually know how to date anymore and vet, and we deal with BS in dating, and we feel like that's what we're supposed to deal with because that's what's being pushed to us. Well, that's what we see. It's a lot of baby mama culture that we see on social media, and we think it's normal, and we think that's what we should aspire to. And so, unfortunately, we don't know how to vet and we don't know how to um, look for a husband or be strict in looking for a husband. And that leads us to being single moms because then we're like, well, I want to have a kid. So if I'm not going to get married, then, he'll be a great dad and not considering what's going to be a great husband as well. So the
But
family planning is out of the window.
but Britt, why are black women so why are they so against marriage? And even when they do get married, when we talk about family planning, not because people get married means that they should necessarily have a kid right away. there
Right.
should be a time there should be a time when you have like your first kid, or when you bring children into the world. You should be in a certain place financially to where you can be like, you should already have certain things set aside, correct? Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we know, like, okay, I want us to live in this neighborhood. I want them to go to this, caliber of school.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to be able to take care of them. Not because we're married now means that we should bring some kid into the world when we staying in this 1 bedroom apartment, but we sleeping on the air mattress together. So,
Yeah.
but like, all you see, do you see when you see maternity shoots of black women these days? Do you see more maternity? I can't tell you the last time I seen a maternity shoot by a black woman with the father actually there.
Nick Cannon's
We
always
we
there.
got we got Kiki Palmer. We got Kiki Palmer on Saturday Night Live, flexing her little baby bump. Not married. We got Summer Walker every other year, showing that she pregnant with a new guy, breaking up. Not married. All these women getting pregnant by Nick Cannon. Not married.
But he's always at the shoots. He's always at the maternity shoot.
Okay, he's always at the shoots, but that's him. My whole point is, I really, okay, other than Nick Cannon, what maternity shoots by black women do you see the father there these days? What, y'all let me know in the comments. I ain't been looking at the comments. In the comments, y'all let me know all these black women having all these maternity shoots and you never see a man there. You never see a man there. You know they don't be married and you never see a man there. Why is that? Let's talk about it.
What do you think? Why do you think the men aren't there?
Because they are attracted to, and they are attracted to men that, first of all, these women be dealing with Ladarius already be having 4 kids by four different women. And I don't know if they be trying to change them. I don't know if Ladarius just lay it down right. I don't know if he's just that charming and charismatic, if he's just that suave. I don't know. I'm not a woman. I don't deal with these men, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I'm trying to get a perspective from a woman.
I don't
Why
deal
is
with
that?
Darius.
Why is that?
I don't know why Ladarius. Listen, I really wish I knew why, but I feel like it's a deeper reason if I just look at the system, and them feeling inadequate. Like, I think deep down, men, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, want to be heroes in their stories. Like they want to be the hero, they want to be the leader, they want to be the protagonist, right? But if you're a brokey in American society and you have all these kids, how can you be that? It's impossible. Like you can't do it. So sometimes I think they literally just disappear because they can't handle the fact that they're the villain in their story or they're the loser in the story. Like they're the one that needs to get killed off in the story. They just don't have anything to stand on. So they just run away and pretend like pretend like that isn't a part of their story.
So what needs to happen to get prioritizing family planning? Like, what needs to happen for that to become a thing in the black community?
Brittany, did you change your hair? I love it. I did. I got color. Thanks. Um, Again, I think a vetting process, and I think men and women need to be more proactive in the dating lives of the next generation. I feel like that is number one. For instance, okay, so my old nanny, right? She used to work for another family at night, and they were an Asian family, and the mom, when she got married, was telling her that in their culture, the husband has to give had to give her family $200,000 just to ask her for her hand in marriage. And once they actually went down the aisle and got married, her family had to give back 50%. So they keep 100,000, they give 100,000 back. And it's like taboo to not give it back. It like destroys the family trust and whatever. But up front, and she was like, and she's the average girl in her society. She was like, obviously, the higher up you are socially, the more money you have to give to the family, whatever. And we don't have anything like that. Like you said, like people are getting married and they live in the one bedroom thing and blah 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 blah. There's no checking of the receipts to make sure you can even afford for this to be your wife, that you can even afford to give a life, that type of life, to that woman. I remember my father was talking to my boyfriend at the time that then I got married to later. He was talking to him and telling him things about affording me. Like I remember that conversation he was having with him to make sure he understood that to afford me was going to be something else. And he was like, "Oh no, he's explaining how he could afford me when he was my boyfriend, that he could afford to date me." And we don't have that in our society. And someone said, "Girl, bye." Yeah, because you ghetto. You don't want to actually have legacy. I'm talking about people who actually want to have legacy, who actually want to build our community up, who actually want to get rid of all the pookies and make sure the pookies are single and they don't procreate. And if they procreating with some other race and not ours.
Brit. So, so okay, so like this. So if a young woman, all these black women be talking about generational curses, and they're the same women that they grew up with that single mother. They grew up with that struggling single mother. They never met their dad. They really don't know their dad. But they go into the real world and do the exact same thing, Britt. So make like please make that make sense for me. So
Say what?
you saw your mom struggle. You saw your mom struggle. You don't have not one full-blooded sibling. You seen what she went through to try to take care of you and your brother, or you and your two siblings, however many of them it was. And then when you grow up, you go outside and do the exact same thing that your mother did and put yourself in the exact same position as your mother. Make it make sense.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's trauma. Like they need to go to therapy. They need to go to therapy before they do anything else. Like they need to go to therapy. They need to heal their wounds. They need to be honest with themselves so they can make better choices for themselves, because we are creatures of familiarity. If we see something that is familiar to us, even if it's bad, we will gravitate toward it. So you really have to do a lot of different soul searching and healing, an entire process. And it's unfortunate there are so many people in our culture that are going through that, you know? Like it's unfortunate, but it's a real problem that we have, and we really need to stop like brushing over it and acting like someone's stupid or someone you should be smarter than that when you're really functioning from trauma and like literally a mental illness.
So Rick, why are black women arguing against like marry before you carry? When they hear men say marry before you carry, there's a group of women that are like, well, he shouldn't be having unprotected sex with her in the first place, or if he does have a baby with her, he just needs to man up and take care of his responsibility. Like they're just totally like skipping over like why as a woman, why are you having a baby for a man that has not made any long-term commitment with you, that's not even in a relationship with you? Like I'm not a woman, so I'm trying to understand like why are you even doing that in the first place?
There are cultures of Muslim men who don't date unless they're dating with the intent to marry a woman. So I think that women are in their right to feel as if someone can't say that to them who is actively participating in impregnating women they don't intend to marry. If you're participating in it, shut up. But if you're a Muslim man who doesn't date or have sex with anybody unless you intend to marry them, then maybe you can say that. Maybe you can be on your high horse. But men who are out here raw dogging, no, they can't be on their high horse telling anybody anything.
But Britt, as a black woman, what does she value? What's important to her? Like I think any black woman that like really values her womb, that really values family, that really values relationships, you're not going to be out here in this position, and you're not going to be encouraging other women that are in this position. You're not just going to be like totally deflecting accountability and responsibility from them. You're not going to just be pointing the finger at the man or the multiple men. You're going to
Right.
tell them like, yo, like, yeah, he may have did what he did, and he does have some accountability in this, but again, you had more to lose, and you put yourself in this situation. Ladarius didn't put you in this situation. And then it's one thing to knock your head one time, make a mistake one time, but when you do something 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you're not making a mistake anymore, Britt. You are making a choice. You are
Right.
making a decision at that point. So what is going on in those women's heads? You never been
Again,
engaged
I
before.
think there's a mental illness there. But to be honest, why do we keep saying that women have more to lose? That's just showing that men don't value legacy. And that's also a mental illness problem for a man to not care about his legacy and his seeds and where they're planted. That's a mental illness. Is it not? Planting
Britt,
seeds anywhere.
Britt, you're trying to come up with reasons. I don't know. It's giving excuses. Like you're trying to
No,
come up with ways to cop
it's not.
out for them.
No, it
I'm
goes
what
both
I'm saying.
ways.
I'm not trying to see them in this position to start off with. Let's
I agree.
instead of trying to do damage control, how about we just prevent it? How about we just prevent it from happening in the first place?
I agree. That's why I think the vetting with the family and the dowries and all that, I like that. I think that makes sense. I think we need that. I think we need to super protect. I think we need to have it where our black girls, we're not even taking a picture with you guys. You can't even take a picture with us, let alone be in a room alone.
So are the older women commu-
Like
are the
Bridgerton, exactly. Just like that. Let's do it. Let's do it. Y'all like it. Let's do it. Let's be like Bridgerton. You can't even see me without my big brother. You gotta talk to him first. You can't even be in the room with me. So we don't make these mistakes, you know? So we're accountable.
are there
And
are there
who y'all gonna be pumping on? Nobody, your hand. It's fine.
if that's what needs to happen, if that's what needs to happen, so she doesn't get pregnant by Ladarius and all these other people and be out here down bad, then I'll be a-okay with that.
I love it. We agree. I love it. I love it.
Let me play this audio one more time, and I'm gonna bring. I don't know who's in the box right now. Let me play this audio one more time, and I'm gonna bring y'all up here because this
Someone
is
named Pookie said, Britt, you kind of cool. Dang, Pookie. I hope we weren't disrespecting you in this live.
I don't know who that is, but relax.
If historically women always married up, wouldn't that mean that men married down? Absolutely. So men in that case would be settling, right? A lot of men settle. A lot of men settle. I agree with that. A lot of men settle. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But see, there's a real conversation in that you ain't ready for. White women marry up, okay? And most of our sisters marry down, but you're not ready for that conversation. That could take you. If historically women always married up, wouldn't that mean that men married down? Absolutely. So men in that case would be settling, right? A lot of men settle. A lot of men settle. I agree with that. A lot of men settle. Yeah. Yeah. But see, there's a real conversation in that you ain't ready for. White women marry up, okay? And most of our sisters marry down, but you're not ready for that conversation. That could take you a whole other place right now. And I told you I've been drinking, so you might want to get that mic off. So come out when you drink, though. No, but let's explore though. Why do you believe that most white women marry up and minorities, black women marry down.
Because white women have been trained by their mothers to marry up. The man is supposed to take care of you. The man is the head of the household, where a lot of times, a lot of our sisters have been told that black men ain't shit. You feel what I'm saying? I can do it for myself. I made it on my own. But you're not ready for that conversation. Get that mic off me because I've been drinking.
Do you think that is why in society it is sometimes deemed the angry black woman is more masculine, whereas you see a lot of brothers getting with white women because they're more submissive?
Did you see the NBA draft class this year? It's a bunch of high yellow brothers like me and him in that class. So what you think? Absolutely.
Britt, did you tell your husband that you're grateful for him today?
Not today.
Did you tell him yesterday?
I mean, I tell him thank you for different tasks he does. Like I'm a person that says thank you naturally.
Are you grateful for him?
Yes, I just don't like the rhetoric that I should be grateful as if I'm a peasant. I'm like, what?
You should be grateful.
Should he be grateful for me?
Yes, both of y'all should be
Yes.
grateful for each other.
Okay, but the rhetoric